That's
Test. Yep. What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, the perfectly pocket sized podcast where we talk about this amazing hybrid console that has stolen our hearts and minds. My name's Antonio, aka Hypecaster, joined by my illustrious co hosts, Clay and David. I don't like skipping over this part. The people want to get to know you. They want to get to know your personality. They want to get to know your soul. I need to ask you, what is your most anticipated franchise that you want to see come to Switch 2? It's kind of a weak launch lineup, right? It's it's not robust. There's a lot of things that are coming in the future. A lot of Nintendo IPs are coming. That's what's selling the system is the promise of Nintendo Magic. David, what are you most excited for to come to Switch 2?
Um, well, Donkey Kong has already been announced. That's a little bit of a cop out.
Would that really have
Uh,
been your like most anticipated though? Like that's
one of
really what
them.
you want to? Okay, yeah,
It's been so long since we've had a Donkey Kong game, particularly one that isn't just kind of a side scroller.
yeah.
So I'm very happy that we're getting actual 3D Donkey Kong for the first time since like 1999.
Hmm.
Very excited about that. Um, Besides Donkey Kong, I'm gonna say Zelda with the caveat that I hope they don't just do. I don't want Breath of the Wild 3. I feel like they did a formula, it worked for 2 games, and I'm ready for another change up.
Hmm.
So I would like to see a Zelda that finds a nice balance between like the classic 3D Zelda with the more handcrafted dungeons, a little bit more, tiny bit more linear, but then combine that with the massive like open world with like tons of things to do that they've gotten in this one. So that would be my hope. Is I just want a good Zelda with handcrafted dungeons with beautiful 4K graphics and 60 frames per second, hopefully. But we'll see if the 60 frames happens. I know a lot of games are struggling to hit that even on Switch too. So
These are the things that excite me the most. Like this conversation of like how do
Mhm.
you improve on greatness? Like I, I think it would take like big guts to shrink the world because they've just blown everybody away with their massive scale. So it's like when you talk about a more focused experience, maybe it's like how do you even do that? Like how do you get away with that? I would think that a 2D or like a top down like isometric style isn't going to sell people. They're going to be expecting a 3D,
Mhm.
something. So very interesting. Clay, what are you most excited for to come to Switch 2 eventually?
if I yeah, thinking through this, the one that came to mind for me is I want a new Maker game, being a
Mm.
Mario Maker game or other Nintendo Maker game. I love Mario Maker. I think it's I mean, who doesn't love a game that literally provides you with unlimited content? Like I could load up Mario Maker 2 right now and just play Mario levels all day and never necessarily play the same one twice. And so just the unlimited play replayability of it is awesome. So all that being said, kind of piggybacking off David is maybe we've already done the Mario thing to the point that you can't do it anymore. Like they've basically got every 2D side-scrolling Mario art style already kind of added. Every item from most of the games, like they've done a lot of what they already can do. So, what if they did a top-down Zelda Maker, where you
Mhm.
could switch from a multitude of different art styles, be it Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. You have the new art style with like the chibi style that you could do. There's a lot of different ones you could rotate between. You could make your own dungeons. You could make your own overworld. I've seen people talk about that. I've seen um, people make their own like Zelda maker online that's gotten shut down by Nintendo. So like it's a popular idea. I think it would be pretty cool. You could also do a 3D Mario Maker and do other like 3D world. I don't know how
Mhm.
that would work. That I think the limitations on that would be just really too much. But I don't know. I love Mario Maker. I would love to see them figure out a way or another property to bring to it that you could, and sending it to my friends or having my friends send me levels and then I record myself trying to beat the level. It's fun. I like that kind of stuff. It brings some interaction. Um, People like to speed run it, can try to get the
Yeah.
highest, like the quickest completion. That's always fun. I like those games. I think they're cool.
I
They'll
could
never
be
do this, but imagine Donkey Kong Country Maker.
Yeah,
That's
that
what I
would be
want.
so awesome too.
Donkey Kong Country Maker could work. I was actually gonna see if I could interest you in a Mario 64 Maker, like use the power that we have now and the gameplay that was kind of already there, and like would it work? Could people like build fully 3D Mario 64 like maker type levels? I'm
Yeah.
sure people could do it. I mean, you'd have
People could do it,
the
but I worry that the
interface.
tool set would be
Yeah,
too hard for a lot of people. I think that might discourage
the interface
Nintendo.
has to work, the UI and
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
how to do it.
Mm.
Interesting. I could be a liar, but when I booted up my Switch, you can filter by playtime, and I believe that Mario Maker was the most played game on my Switch 1 when I was booting it up. And I was surprised because it was like more than Breath of the Wild, it was more than Smash, it was more than Mario Kart, like the ones that you're always playing. So very interesting. Very interesting. For me, Animal Crossing has a special place in my heart. The music is fantastic. The gameplay is like clunky. It was on the Switch 1 version. So if they ever re-energize that franchise with the quality of life fixes that people have been clamoring for, it's really going to take people by storm even more than the last game did, because people were in COVID and kind of locked down, and it came at a good time where a lot of people jumped into it for a lot of different reasons and discovered that IP for the first time. And that franchise has so much potential that I just need a not clunky Animal Crossing game. Please, please, Nintendo, this time around, have it not be slow loading times and like a million like bad menus. Like there's so many things you could do for the objectives, and it's a really good franchise that I think deserves limelight this go in this gen. Today we're going to be talking about the flagship launch title for the launch to Mario Kart World. And we're going to do it and break it down in a fun way by talking about what we love about the game, the very best thing, what we hate, one thing that we wish could change that would elevate the whole experience. If only they changed this one thing. And then the end factor, one thing that surprised us that we did not expect. Um, I'll go first. For Mario Kart World, what I love is the track design that really allows you to rack up speed and stay there. I think of all the moments when I'm playing, that's when I'm like feeling the best. I'm not a pro. If you look online right now, there are people who are finding shortcuts and ways to stay at top speed that are just so butter smooth, and they're like pinpoint accuracy. But even someone like me who's a novice, there are tracks that really lend to keeping you like feeling like you're a pro driver, just very smooth, very quick, out of turns. The baby cart track from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I forget. Do you guys remember what that's called? Where it's the baby one and it's just a donut, like a loop where you can constantly be speed
Yeah.
drifting. I forget what it's called, but that
Park, Movie Park.
baby part.
Maybe
It's my
Park, yeah.
favorite track, and I felt that same thrill of like I am just going. It's so many tracks in this game. It's hard to nail down exactly like which ones, but some of these tracks are just stellar. One thing I hate or wish I could change to make the game better would be the collectibles. Like, I'm still not sure what these sticker things are for or what they're doing. Like, when I go to my friends list, I can see your last selected sticker that you've unlocked. You for whatever you collected coins or you did some type of like your achievement system. It's like bragging rights. I got this sticker, but I thought that the sticker. I thought like the more you unlocked, you'd be able to place them on the car so you'd see them when you drive, but that's not a thing. So I'm struggling to understand why in this open world I'm collecting these peach coins, why I'm, ultimately getting these stickers and what they're for. Like, I want a ranking system. So that, yeah, I want a ranking system of some type that gives me a reason to progress. So, like, my favorite example of this is going back to Halo, I think it was 2 or 3, where I just needed ranked mode where I could see myself getting better and I could get better at team deathmatch, and I'd have a rank that went up to 50, I think. And I just kept going back because I wanted to get better, see where I naturally was skill wise. If there was like a something where they're like, oh, you earn this costume if you win 5 knockout races this week, it would give me that pull to keep playing and have unlockables. So I guess long story short is I want a reason to progress and keep playing. Something to shoot for. The end factor, the thing that surprised me was the beauty of the HDR and handheld mode. I talked about it last episode, but anything that shines or fire in handheld, I don't know. Maybe I don't know why I'm so impressed by it, but I absolutely am. It just looks beautiful. There are elements in the game that the HDR just shines and impresses.
Mm-hmm.
Clay, Mario Kart World, it's out there. It's the Switch 2 launch title. What do you love about it? What's the one thing that is fantastic?
So for that, I would say just the overall physics and controls that
100%.
that you feel when you're playing it. I mostly play with the Pro controller, which just feels fantastic already. But yeah, it's something. It's hard to explain. You, until you go back and you play Mario Kart 8, which I happened to actually play the other day with a kid at my youth group, and they had it there, and I grabbed a Joy-Con and was playing. And granted, a Joy-Con to a Pro controller is a whole different beast, but just something about the way when you hit the right trigger and you do the whatever it's called, where you're drifting.
Yep.
That whole feeling is a little bit different than it was in 8, and I
Yeah.
think every game they put out, they kind of tweak the physics and how that happens and how it feels. So on this one, your wheels you kind of like teeter a little bit, like you're gonna roll over almost. And it at first you're like, this is like, it feels weird, but then you get really used to it, and it's just like now it's hard to go back to 8 a little bit. It's not a complete like rework, but it's enough where when you go to a different version, you're like, oh, I missed that. And so it's hard to explain. It just feels really good. I feel like I'm in control, and if I make a mistake, it's my fault. Not the game's fault, nobody else's fault, really, but mine when it comes to like staying on the track or whatever. So that's one thing that I really liked about it. I was really looking forward to trying that out because that's a thing that you can listen to people online like me talk about it all day, but until you actually feel it and kind of get a feel for the controls and how things move, it's just something you have to experience for yourself. And so I really liked that about it. As far as one thing I didn't like about this game, I, there's not there could be a little bit more explanation happening in this game, and I realize there's a manual on the main home screen that I haven't looked at yet, but there was some confusion that I had early on, and I think the three of us shared it because we were texting about it. Like, isn't there isn't there supposed to be like a in between where you race from one thing to the next thing, and so but like yeah, it's there, but if you're not paying attention, you don't necessarily realize it. That when a race begins, you start off where the last race ended, and then you're going to your location. But then when you get there, you basically do one lap at the new location, and then the race is over. So like I thought the in between tracks were separate, so you'd have a little race to get to the next one,
Yeah.
but then you would start the next one and do 3 laps at your new location. But no, it's the drive to the location and then being there that is the whole race itself. And so that part is just a little confusing to me. Um, David, hopefully I'm not stealing your gripe here, and you can jump in here in a second with me on this, but it's just I'd rather have more of the place that you're going to race, and it feels like it's kind of like you get there, and then it's like you have one lap to enjoy the ambiance of that racetrack, and then it's over. It's just a little odd. I like what they went for with it being one big world that you kind of hit it all, but I think I would have done it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that I completely agree. The thing that I've been thinking about is that they play tested doing 3 laps once you get there, and then they just decided that for time's sake, they wanted to keep the pace of everything quicker. That's the only
Mhm.
thing that I could think of. That
That
or maybe it's some weirdness about when you get there, you have to close off the loop, right? Like the first person that opens up the track, like some of these, like they go, like the track doesn't transform, but I think there's some type of barrier situation where the first person breaks the new track and then the last person, it's hard to explain, but basically something about like it would break the flow. But yeah, very interesting. And I did want to piggyback off what you said about what you loved. When you're flying in this one, it's completely different when you're floating with your paraglider or whatever it is in the air. It feels much more like you're truly in the air. There's a little less control, weirdly, but I kind of like that. And you're in the air much longer, it seems, and there's a lot more verticality to the game. So I love that as well. Clay, your N factor. What's
N
something?
factor. Yes. I think the
Hold on, wait. Give me 1 second.
yeah.
I don't know why this stopped. Hold on, let me save this really quick. Uh, fucker. Okay, it shouldn't be. See if my hard drive is full. What the hell? What's they changed Windows 11? How do you see how much space you have? Hold on. I thought it was properties.
David knows.
How do you
What are
see?
you doing?
How do you see
Sorry.
how
I'm
much space
sleeping.
you have on all your hard drives? I usually click on this PC and hit properties, and it just usually
Yeah,
came up.
just go to like even if you just open up like a freaking any Windows Explorer, there should be like the hard drive listed in the hold on. Oh, I don't have a Windows computer right now
No
in front
worries.
of me.
I'll
I
just.
was gonna walk you through it, but yeah,
I'm
just like
hoping
this
the.
PC will get you there, and then that's probably the easiest way, and then it should have a list of all your hard drives with their hard drive space.
Yeah, they changed. They changed Windows 11. Just
It's
there we go.
terrible.
You have to go to storage, and then it will show you view storage on other drives. Oh my God, they make. Okay, so it must have just been a. Must have just been a slip of the hand. All right, so nobody move. File, new, audio file. Okay. Recording again for me. Okay. So
So how much did we
the
just
N
lose?
factor. No, it was just my audio, so I just had to restart it. So I'm gonna do a part 2. All right,
Okay.
Clay. The N factor for Nintendo. Oh, sorry. Blah. All right, Clay. What's your N factor? Something you weren't expecting. Mario Kart World. Good or bad?
Yeah, I love the. Even though Diddy Kong's not in this game, I love the
Ouch.
extra characters they added.
Mm-hmm.
I think they added some fun, weird, quirky, unique characters. So it's nice to see some fresh faces on the roster. Even though we lost, like Link and the Inklings and Animal Crossing, like bummed to lose some of those, but cool to see random, Mario characters that I never expected. But along with that, I love the costumes. I think those are super fun, and I really like the carts, the different cart options that you can unlock, the different designs that they have. I feel like certain games, every now and then, you have really good cart design, and then there's certain games where the carts are just kind of meh, kind of bleh. And in this one, I thought they had some really creative and cool ideas. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't like go into a lot of specifics, but I just thought there was some really fun options of carts to choose from, along with all the characters and outfits. So I love that creativity. I love that there's a little bit of customization in there. Obviously, it's not really providing you with much of a benefit outside of maybe the carts having some different stats. But I just love that. It's fun. It's different, and every time I unlock a new car, I'm always like admiring it and enjoying it, which I like.
Cool. Uh, Before I forget, I have to change my hate because this is infuriating. When you go into the settings, you cannot. There are like zero settings in this game. Like, you cannot lower the sound effects and increase the music, which I want. Like the constant barrage of like sound effects. Like, it's cool. There's something there. Like, it is Mario Kart, but I want to hear the music. Everyone's talking about how great the music is, and I feel like it sits like I can't enjoy it because all the sound effects are just kind of constantly over it. So I really wanted to do that, and there are no settings to do that at all, which is mind-boggling. Like, even in games where there are few settings, that's literally like one of the only default ones that I've seen in games that have few settings is how to tweak the volume levels. So very mind-boggling that that's not there, but it's not. David, Mario Kart World. We finally got our hands on it. What do you love? The best thing about Mario Kart World is
Well, I mean, it's Mario Kart and it plays really well and it looks fantastic. Um, and there's a freshness to it that I guess if you've been playing Mario Kart for a while, it's finally feels like a little bit of something different, which I think is going to be both a blessing and a curse for this game. But it has made it the free roam in particular. I like that there's now something to kind of do when I'm not like just either playing with other people or playing like a cup to against the CPU. There's something I can sort of just idly do and like unlock random things. So I think the free roam is a lot of fun. It could be a little bit better at the same time because I think that it the stuff to do isn't always the most engaging. And so I'm hoping that maybe down the line Nintendo, like whether it be the next Mario Kart game or if there's ever an expansion, maybe do a little bit more of the free roam. Um, Maybe even add like a little bit of like story content in. That would have been so cool if I could actually like think about the stuff they used to have in like Mario, tennis and whatnot, where
mm-hmm.
you're actually kind of like doing a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a right now. So, um, am I supposed to talk? I'm supposed to talk about the things I don't like too,
Something
right?
you
That was a
hate.
three-part question. Yeah.
One thing that you
So,
could change if they only did this, it would make the whole game better.
yeah, I think there should be like I think I'm with Clay. It's like I had a perception going in about how the Grand Prix was going to work. Um, I thought that there were going to be full race tracks, and then in between each racetrack, there was going to be like another race where I raced from one to the other, and that those would be basically completely separate. Um, I don't love the way they do it. It does kind of add variety, and I understand why, but at the same time, I find it a little bit less exciting than having like 3 rounds of like a really cool handcrafted course. Um, so I think I understand why they do it this way, and I think that is probably going to be the best option for most people because it would take a lot longer to do 3 full laps, have another short race in between each one, and it would make the Grand Prix time to take to do single one go way up. But I would like to see that option added, like at like a later date, maybe, of having a way to just to basically do a full race on each course and then do a smaller race in between, as just like an option. So
N
yeah,
factor.
I don't know if like I'm still not sure if this is a better game than Mario Kart 8 or not. There's a lot I like.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Holy
like I miss the
shit.
customization. Miss the customizations of the Mario Kart had more. Mario Kart 8 had more kart customizations with being able to swap out wheels in the vehicles. Like the vehicles are really cool, but I wish I could still swap wheels out and have a little different parachute. Um, and just the absolutely. I mean, this really speaks to Nintendo doing almost too good of a job because the Mario Kart 8 was always going to be a really hard game to make a sequel to. And this is like, it has like all the best tracks from every Mario Kart game, and there's so many cups, and it's just so massive. It's really hard. And I don't know for sure. We'll have to see after the newness Like I'm obviously having way more fun playing Mario Kart World right now. I'm wondering after the newness wears off, and I go back and try Mario Kart 8, like which one am I going to end up preferring down the line when I want to play Mario Kart? So I think that's going to be an interesting sort of just like I don't have an answer for that yet because I think we have to time has to pass and I got to get like sick of the current one to see if I'm going to want to go back to 8 from time to time. But yeah.
When you count the tracks, I mean, you got to ask yourself, are you comparing the straightaways or just the circuits? Because
Mhm.
there's obviously more circuits in Mario Kart 8, but it doesn't feel like there's a content like it doesn't feel like there's a content deficiency at all. It's weird. Like you got
No.
the whole open world plus the straightaways plus the circuits. But yeah, I was a little surprised when I started counting, and I'm like, wait a second, I feel like there should be more. But it's a massive game, so I don't know. The interesting thing about this game going forward is what do they do with it, right? Like when Zelda did DLCs, I don't think
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like they sometimes Nintendo doesn't know what to do with um the prospects in front of them. They don't always take advantage. We're all
Yeah.
expecting that they're gonna make the world feel more alive or fill it with more content or somehow add more tracks, but we don't know how. So it's like interesting. What will they do? How will they evolve this and grow it? Um, Very interesting. Yeah.
Do you want my N factor now?
N factor.
N factor.
One thing that
So,
surprised you. You didn't expect
some
it. It came
yeah.
out of left field. You didn't see it coming.
So I really like how unlocking things in this game works, particularly costumes, and how much it just seems like it's such a breath of fresh air. And I'm going probably completely against something you said earlier, where you're like, I wish I could do this to unlock a
Hmm.
costume and beat 8 things in a
Yeah, that's what I want.
FOMO-inducing time period. I absolutely despise that type of thing. And it's one of the things that's honestly turning me off video games in general is how much that is in everything now. And it's just an absolute breath of fresh air how Mario Kart World handles unlocks. It's like I play as a character, I run around, I get a little hamburger bag or whatever, and then I have a new costume I didn't pay $5 or have to spend a weekend grinding to get it. I love it, and it used to be how everything was, and it is glorious to actually just be buy a thing buy a, even if it's $80 game, but I would much rather spend $80 on a game and not have to make it feel like a full-time job to like collect all the skins that I want because I'm and then kick myself because I have a real a job and a life and I can't always like hop on and do dailies and stuff to get something that I want. Like
You're
it's just
crazy.
all there. I paid money and it's all there and I don't have to worry about never being able to get any of it.
Give
And
me the battle pass.
it's a
Give
lot of
me
fun.
give me content to unlock.
No,
I'll do it.
no.
I'll
I
do
was
it.
actually really worried they might do something like that and they didn't. Don't say it. Don't put it in the universe.
Well, we're wrapping it up with our reader mail. I should call it listener mail, but we have a question. This comes from Timmy from Little Big Falls, Minnesota. I bought Mario Kart World, but sadly, this is not an $80 game. It is not living up to what Nintendo it's living up to Nintendo quality, but not the amount of content. I want more unlocks. I want more tracks. I want more for $80. Comment on this. It's more of a statement. Clay, did this end up being an $80 game? Did Nintendo deceive us saying that the treehouse that after the reveal will reveal more about the value of why they're charging $80, or did they just charge $80 because they want to charge $80?
It's a, it's a tough question. It's hard. It's too soon to say, in my opinion. It, it doesn't. Right now, where I'm at, it does not feel like a week later, like it's an $80 game to me. Um, but I guess we'll wait and see if I continue to play it or if I start to lose. I mean, this is a game that I think we will have. No one's gonna like turn around and sell this game. Like you're gonna hold on to it. You're gonna keep putting it in from time to time. You have friends over. Let's play around in Mario Kart. So you're gonna pull this out. So I think throughout the whole Switch 2's lifespan, I think I will get my $80 worth out of it. As a launch title, trying to hold my interest and showing me what first party Nintendo is all about, I'm not reading a lot of $80 value here a weekend. If they bring out some DLC and add some additional things throughout its lifespan that I don't have to pay additionally for, I could see that upping the value. Are they going to come out with something though where they're going to want us to buy something to pay for more courses? Probably. And like I don't know if it's worth it at that point. Especially with what the value you get from Mario Kart 8. It makes it a harder sell. The amount of levels that you have in Mario Kart 8. Granted, that game was super old. It's been out forever, and they gave it fresh legs by adding additional content. So it's not a fair comparison, but it's just like, man, if you ever got sick of this game, you just go back and play that one, and you're pretty much covered. So I'm leaning towards, I don't know if it's fully an $80 title in its current state.
David, Clay thinks that the game is hot trash. What do you think?
So I think there's also a larger conversation to have here about just the price of games in general. This being an $80 game does seem kind of weird in this sort of transitional point where games are clearly going up. And it's not going to be the only one. We just like The Outer Worlds 2 just got announced as a first party Microsoft game that's now going to be $80. So I think there's a general trend of like the game industry has decided they need to charge, well, maybe need is the one, they want to charge more for games to increase their profit margins because game developing is expensive, and they see this as an acceptable way to do it. I will say that the content obviously doesn't feel like it's more than another game, first Nintendo first party game, but I think this is probably going to be the norm going forward of most major Nintendo first party games being $80. So in that case, I guess it makes sense. I said I do like that everything is here, and we're going to be playing it for a very long time, as Clay said. So I'll get my money's worth, and I paid $80, and there's nothing scummy in it. There's no scummy microtransactions. There's no premium currencies. Everything's here. I have it on the cart, and I don't got to worry about like being nickel and dimed elsewhere. Except if there might be an expansion pass down the line, like they were last time, which I'm okay with because that was basically like with Mario Kart 8, the booster pass literally doubled the amount of content in the game for like a very low amount. So if they do that down the line, I don't really care. It's really just like buying a new game at like a discount. So I think it doesn't really bother me as much as it bothered some people. Just because I said I know it's a high quality first party game. I'm going to be playing it for a while, but it sucks that games are going to be probably costing $70 to $80 going forward. And if you pay $60 for a game, in probably like the next 5 years, you're going to feel like you got a good deal. For a new game, obviously there'll be sales and stuff, but our hobby is getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And think about the Nintendo Switch is $450 and it's the cheapest console on the market currently.
Stop reminding me, David. Stop reminding me of my debt.
This is the cheapest new console you can get at $450.
My comment on this whole thing is that it depends, and it depends on what Nintendo's plan is, and they haven't said. So we all agree that they're going to do something, like additional content. That's just given. The question is, how are they going to dole it out? Is it paid or free? I'm pretty sure it's not going to be free, which bothers me. Once that is confirmed that we paid $80 and then it's plus some type of pass, maybe it's a $10 thing, maybe it's a $20 thing. It doesn't matter. But the second they charge over 80, I'm upset. I don't care what they're giving you. If you were going to charge 80, it should have been the route where you said, we're going to at least do one round of free updates. They could have said that, but they didn't. And I think they didn't because they know that they're going to do a pass. Now, something Nintendo is doing... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but for the last Mario Kart game, I think if you're an NSO subscriber to this expansion pack, I think you got it for free, didn't you?
Exactly. So Nintendo has done this unique thing where they don't have to give you that one option of here's a paid DLC thing. They're linking a lot with their Nintendo Online subscription and giving you access to things like, the GameCube games, like the upres patch for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, included with that. So they've created this unique delivery, this unique option of how they can charge for things, and they got me, because when I think of that, I'm like, man, at first I felt like I overpaid for Nintendo Switch Online. It wasn't worth the $5 or whatever it was. That I'm like, this is not worth it. But then over time, they got me, and they kept adding more and more. Now I feel good about it, and they continue to add things to that, so they're kind of keeping me in and also raising the price slowly over time. So oddly, I would be okay if the new content for Mario Kart World included the online Nintendo Switch Online, and it was included in there. Or I guess separately you could pay, $10, $20. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion. We'll see what they do. I said so many times I'm not the biggest Mario Kart fan, and I thought I was going to be bored, but I'm not bored at all. And it was like kind of the big soul, like AAA launch title or whatever. And it just delivered a lot more than I was expecting. It feels fresh, like you were saying. Very interesting. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2. Please leave a comment or question, and we will address it on the show. Please like, share, subscribe. Just leave a comment. Who's your Mario Kart character main in world? Are you Cow? My daughter was like, I'm a cow, and was just around the free roam, and she loved it. She's like, this is the best. This is way better than Mario Kart on Switch 1. And she was just loving the cow. People are loving it. What is your main character and why? In the comments. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Okay. Good job, everybody.
All right, let's
Nicely
save
done.
this. Export song, export song to disk. Okay, David.
I'm gonna
Switch.
be editing right now, so the sooner you can send your stuff, the better.
Switch Talk 2 episodes. Up
Episode
2
1
through
and
3.
1 and 2.
Oh, well, the other one was episode 0?
Yeah, episode 0.
Okay, episode 1
Are you
and
gonna
2.
post that, Tony?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm probably just gonna do them back to back.
Cool.
3